And now, ladies and gentlemen, from the heart of the Inland Empire, right here in sunny Southern California, it's Robert Cardoza Live, where we talk about politics, money, and you. This is the intersection of business and politics. And now here's your host, Robert Cardoza.
And welcome aboard. I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. Well, unfortunately, last Friday, I got injured, and had to do an archive show, but we're back live. I'm feeling better. We've got a fantastic show for you today. It's just don't go away. We've got a lot of stuff going on. On today's show, we're going to discuss what's in the news, new legislation, the IRS Loses, and of course, we'll continue our new segment, The Rest of the Story. That's a tribute to the late, great Paul Harvey. And, today's story by Paul is going to be the last case of Henri Latour. I'll tell you all about that. You're gonna find it really, really interesting and shocking, I suppose. A little shocking in any event. And then on our special segments, we'll be doing our simulcast with Jon Matthews and Joe Hankels, where we're talking about conservative politics. And then just after that, we're gonna be with our own John Hansen, that little old wine drinker. He'll be talking to us about food and wine and his culinary cruise to Alaska and Canada and all kinds, who knows. He'll be talking about all kinds of stuff. But before we do that, I want you to know that at 3:01 p.m. Pacific time, get this. It's currently 104 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, it's on its way down to 70, and I can't wait till it starts going down that way. But somehow, I don't think we've reached our peak yet. So that's one of the things that's going on. Well, let's talk about the news. We've got 10 things that we've encapsulated here so we can talk to you about what's just current, and what to talk to your friends and your peers and your associates about. And then we'll get to a little bit more in-depth stuff. Here are the 10 things that you need to know for Monday, your daily look at late-breaking news, upcoming events, and the stories that are going to be talked about all day today and probably tomorrow, too, for that matter. First up at the top, well, Trump goes on a tear against media. The GOP nominee blames the disgusting press for distractions at a time when Republicans have urged him again to focus on Hillary Clinton. And who could sway swing states in the White House race? Well, residents of Puerto Rico can't vote in presidential elections, but many are fleeing to the United States mainland, potentially shifting demographic norms in pivotal Pennsylvania, Florida, and Ohio. Well, what Boko Haram's new video suggests, according to it, some of the abducted Chibok schoolgirls are killed by Nigerian military airstrikes. It's not clear how many kidnapped videos have died among the 218 who remain missing. And black man is shot by police in Milwaukee, had a gun in his hand. Wisconsin's governor, meanwhile, puts the National Guard on standby in case of more violence on the city's mostly black north side. And where rising floodwater leaves thousands homeless. Excuse me. Across southern Louisiana, residents scramble to get to safety as rivers and creeks burst their banks, swollen from days of heavy rain. Just seems to be a regular occurrence out in that neck of the woods. And yet we've got so many people that don't believe in global warming and the effects that it's having on weather. Maybe we can talk about that tomorrow with our own Sean Lefebvre and his Geared for Wellness Corner. And here's one for you. Iraqi Kurds advance near the Islamic State-held city. U.S.-backed Kurdish forces known as Peshmerga say that they have retaken 5 villages east of Mosul and aim to clear several more villages to increase pressure on the extremists. Well, Usain Bolt wins another gold in the Olympic 100. American Justin Gatlin finishes second, 100 seconds behind him. Andre DeGrassi of Canada wins the bronze. Well, Ryan Lochte and 3 other U.S. swimmers are robbed by armed men in Rio. Get this. While it is true that my teammates and I were the victims of a robbery early Sunday morning, what is most important is that we are safe and unharmed, Lochte says in a message posted on Instagram. Can you believe it? Well, here's one for you. Lululemon's CEO sees lots of room to grow. We went from playing defense to playing offense, and we are launching new things again, says Laurent Potvin. Well, finally, Adele says no to the Super Bowl performance offer. I mean, come on. That show is not about music, and I don't really Well, I can't dance to anything like that, the British singer tells an audience at her Los Angeles concert. Well, go figure. Looks like that ain't going to happen, right? Yeah, in no way soon anyway. So let's talk about some more in-depth stories here in the news. Trump calls for extreme vetting of immigration applicants. Donald Trump called today for extreme ideological vetting of immigrants seeking admission to the United States, vowing to significantly overhaul the country's screening process and block those who sympathize with extremist groups or don't embrace American values. Those who do not believe in our Constitution or who support bigotry and hatred will not be admitted for immigration into our country. Trump said in a foreign policy address in Youngstown, Ohio, only those who we expect to flourish in our country and to embrace a tolerant American society should be issued visas. Trump's proposals were the latest version of a policy that began with his unprecedented call to temporarily bar foreign Muslims from entering the country, a religious test that was criticized across party lines as un-American. My guess is when we start our simulcast today with Jon Matthews, we'll probably be hearing some more about what's going on, in the Trump campaign. Well, Biden says Trump is thoroughly unqualified for the presidency. Well, I would expect him to say that. I'm beginning to think that myself, as a matter of fact. You know what? Here's the deal. Vice President Joe Biden assailed Donald Trump's ability to lead America at home and abroad today, branding him being indifferent to the needs of Americans in his first campaign appearance with Democratic nominee Hillary Clinton. Biden, who decided not to make a third presidential bid last year, said in his native city of Scranton that Trump was thoroughly unqualified to be president, calling him a dangerous voice on national security and foreign policy. On the economy, he said, Trump's reveling in his TV reality show tag, "You're fired," showed his true colors. He's trying to tell us that he cares about the middleman or the middle class. Give me a break. It's such a bunch of malarkey. Biden told a crowd of about 3,000 people at Riverfront Sports, adding he doesn't have a clue. Wow. Can you believe that? I can tell you that Pennsylvania has not supported a Republican in a presidential election since 1988, but is among the most contested battleground states between Clinton and Trump, who are both vying for white working class voters in Pennsylvania. And it just keeps going and going and going. Well, here's one for you, and this is one I want to talk to our good buddy Sean Lefebvre about too. We have a divided America when it comes to temperatures and the temperature rising in U.S. splits. And you know what? Here's the deal. Temperatures are rising in America along with the temperatures as well. 2 decades ago, the issue of climate change wasn't as contentious. The leading U.S. Senate proponent of taking action on global warming was Republican John McCain. George W. Bush wasn't as zealous as the issue on the issue as his Democratic opponent for president in the year 2000. Al Gore, but he too talked of regulating carbon dioxide. Then the earth got even hotter, repeatedly breaking temperature records, but instead of drawing closer together, politicians polarized. Well, you know what? This is actually part of a divided America story that was in the Associated Press's ongoing exploration, and there's a lot more to it. If you want to know more about it, just look up the Associated Press, and it's going to all be right there. But basically, it comes down to more people believe in global warming than don't believe in it, but we have a divided America, all about that. Now, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to talk about Islam for Dummies. The Islamic State recruits have a poor grasp on faith, and I'll tell you all about that right after these brief messages. Don't go away. We've got a lot of great show for you.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchase high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:13 p.m. Pacific time. It's currently 104 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. And it's still rising before it goes down. It's on its way down. It's going to go on its way down to 70 degrees. But right now we're talking about the news. And you know what? We got something called Islam for Dummies. It's the Islamic State recruits have a poor grasp of faith. Yeah, you can bet that all right. You know what? The jihadi employment form asked the recruits on a scale of 1 to 3 to rate their knowledge of Islam. And the Islamic State applicants herded into a hangar somewhere at Syria-Turkey border turned out to be overwhelmingly ignorant. The extremist group could hardly have hoped for better. At the height of Islamic State's drive for foot soldiers in 2013 and 2014, typical recruits included the group of Frenchmen who went bar hopping with their recruiter back home. The recent European convert who now hesitantly describes himself as gay, and 2 Britons who ordered the Quran for Dummies and Islam for Dummies from Amazon to prepare for jihad abroad. Their intake process complete, they were grouped in safe houses as a stream of Islamic State imams came in to indoctrinate them, according to court testimony and interviews by the Associated Press. Well, he says, I realized that I was in the wrong place when they began to ask me questions on these forms like, when you die, who should we call? Said the 32-year-old European recruit, speaking to the Associated Press on condition of anonymity for fear of reprisals. He said that he thought he was joining a group to fight President Bashar Assad and help Syrians, not the Islamic State. Well, the European, whose boyish demeanor makes him appear far younger than his age, went to Syria in 2014. He said new recruits were shown Islamic State propaganda videos on Islam and the visiting imams repeatedly praised martyrdom. Far from home, unschooled in religion, having severed family ties and turned over electronic devices, most were in little position to judge. An Associated Press analysis of thousands of leaked Islamic State documents reveals most of its recruits from its earliest days came with only the most basic knowledge of Islam. A little more than 3,000 of these documents included the recruits' knowledge of Sharia, the system that interprets into law verses from the Quran, and Hadith, the sayings and actions of the Prophet Muhammad. You know what? Go figure. These guys are idiots anyway. All of them are. Yeah, all of them are. That's the way I feel about it. Well, how about this? Rampaging South Sudan troops raped foreigners and killed locals. The soldier pointed his AK-47 at the female aid worker and gave her a choice. Either you have sex with me, or we make every man here rape you and then we shoot you in the head, she remembers him saying. She didn't really have a choice. By the end of the evening, she had been raped by 15 South Sudanese soldiers. On July the 11th, South Sudanese troops, fresh from winning a battle in the capital, Juba, over opposition forces, went on a nearly 4-hour rampage through a residential compound popular with foreigners in one of the worst targeted attacks on aid workers in South Sudan's 3-year civil war. They shot dead a local journalist while forcing the foreigners to watch raped several foreign women, singled out Americans, beat and robbed people, and carried out mock executions, several witnesses told the Associated Press. For hours throughout the assault, the UN peacekeeping force stationed less than a mile away refused to respond to desperate calls for help. Neither did embassies, including the U.S. Embassy. Man, can you believe that? I mean, how much sicker can it get? I just don't know. But this is certainly not the kind of world that I grew up in, and it's certainly not the kind of a world I want my grandchildren to grow up in. We got to fix it. Well, police chief was surprised by violence after a fatal shooting. Following a night of violence that left half a dozen businesses in flames, the Milwaukee police chief expressed surprise at the level of unrest and erupted after the fatal shooting of a black man by a black officer. This was, quite frankly, unanticipated, Chief Edward Flynn said today, 2 days after the worst of the violence hit the Sherman Park neighborhood on the city's economically depressed and largely black north side. The chief's statement raised questions about whether authorities could have taken steps to curb the rioting. It was a question that both Flynn and North Side residents rejected. I think it's an error in narrative to assume that because police shot someone that was shooting will be controversial, so let's have a riot. Flynn told a news conference, there's a lot going on in the neighborhood. There's a lot that's been going on for years and years. Cecil Brewer, 67, who owns an apartment house directly across from the intersection where protesters burned a gas station on Saturday night and hurled rocks at the police on Sunday night, said the rioting was all but inevitable. Yeah, well, you know what? That's just kind of the way they say things. It's all but inevitable. I guess that makes it all right, huh? I don't think so. Well, let's leave it on a better note. The latest, a Cuban heavyweight, Lopez has a third Greco-Roman gold. The latest on the 2016 Summer Olympics in Rio de Janeiro. Cuban heavyweight Mijan Lopez once again busted Turkish rival Reza I guess it's Kalop, this time with a performance that put him in the company of legendary wrestler Alexander Karelin. Lopez throttled Kalop 6-0 on Monday at the Rio Games to capture his third Greco-Roman Olympic gold medal. Lopez joined Karelin of Russia and Sweden's Karl Westergren as the only wrestlers with the 3 Olympic titles in the classic discipline. Well, folks, don't go away, because when we come back, we're going to do the IRS Loses. And the first case up, well, a farmer's profit motive makes his losses deductible. Well, it sounds normal, right? But when you hear the story, you'll be surprised. We'll be right back after these brief messages. Do not go away.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 3:23 p.m. Pacific time. The weather's changing. It's expanding a little bit. It's currently 105 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. It looks like the low is expanding a little bit too. It's going to go down to 69 degrees by the end of the evening. I can't hardly wait for that to happen. But right now, let's talk about your favorite subject, my favorite subject, the IRS Loses.
The story you are about to see is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Oh yeah, you know what? These stories, they actually bring a smile to my face. Hopefully they bring a smile to your face too. Nobody ever wants to hear about the IRS winning. That's for darn sure. So let's get it. I've got 3 cases for you here today. The first one that the IRS lost was a farmer's profit motive makes losses deductible. Now, you would think that sounds kind of normal to me, but listen to this. Benny Mullins was a successful business owner and grew up on a farm and wanted to return to owning one. He bought a cattle farm, and after semi-retiring, lived and worked on that farm. Now, the farm incurred steady losses. The IRS said that these losses showed that it was not being run for a profit, but to shelter income that Mullins still received from his business, and disallowed his loss deduction. So he went to court for some justice, and this is what happened. The judge said that Mullins worked 50 hours a week on the farm, moved to a primitive home located on it to be there to work, consulted with experts, and repeatedly changed farming strategies to improve profitability. All this indicated that he did have a profit motive, so his losses were absolutely deductible. Yeah, that's the way it ought to be. Here's another one the IRS lost. President in name only is not liable for a company's unpaid taxes. Wait till you hear this one. You know what? Ellen Marino was the president of a lending company founded by her son. But the business was run by her live-in companion, who was ineligible under state law to be an officer of the company because of his past credit problems. And any tasks that Ellen performed for the company, she did under his direction. Now, when the company fell behind on its payroll taxes, the IRS contacted her and she informed her companion. Eventually, the IRS assessed $76,000 in personal liability against her for the unpaid taxes. So she went to court for some justice. This is what the judge said. Marino had no real authority over the company's finances, so she was not responsible nor liable for those taxes, which is the way it ought to be, right? Let me give you one more. This has got to be pleasing you, right? Yeah. Let me give you one more. The IRS loses. They cannot seize winnings that one player wins for another player. Sounds normal to me. Listen to this. Robert Whitlatch devised a system for winning video lottery jackpots, and it required playing the same machine for many, many hours. So he hired Paul Kovach to play a machine for him and gave Kovach all of the funds that were to be wagered. When Kovach hit a jackpot, Whitlatch claimed it, but both the casino and the IRS said it was payable to Kovach, the actual player. Now, the IRS then tried to take the entire jackpot to settle Kovach's back tax debts. So he went to court, just what the judge said. Neither the state gaming law nor the casinos' published rules barred one person from playing for another. So the winnings are Whitlatch's, who also collects interest from the IRS for his delay in collecting them. And guess what else? He also gets the legal fees that were incurred in the collection of this thing. That's the way it ought to be. Shame on the IRS trying to get away with this stuff. Well, you've heard me talk many times about being a fly on the wall when the IRS is doing things. Well, that's where we're at right now with this segment of the show that we call Inside the IRS. It is a little bit like the Twilight Zone. Now, these are not tax court cases, but these are things that the IRS does. They set the precedents. They're public knowledge, most of them, and basically it's things that you want to know, and because it can prepare you one way or another, and it will help you prepare your own cases as well. But here's the deal: you ever think about what happened going to jail for a tax crime, even if you reported all of your income? Can you imagine that? Well, you know what? When the IRS can't prove that you failed to report all of your income, it may still be able to prove that you committed tax crime. So here's an alert for you. Small business owners have a tendency to hire employees off the books to save payroll taxes, avoid union assessments, and attract foreign aliens not permitted to work in this country. If the IRS decides to pursue a criminal case, it's going to claim that the small business owner willfully aided and abetted in the filing of false payroll tax returns. Now, another crime the IRS is going to attempt to charge is obstruction of justice. If the person being audited tells his or her friends and business associates what to say or not to say if they're contacted by IRS investigators. So, learn a lesson from that. There's a lot you can spend some time away from home in one of those federal resorts if you do this the wrong way. Matter of fact, just get an attorney. That's the best thing to do. Here's another case for you, and not really a case. There's another issue for you, and that is lawsuits against the largest accounting and law firms for faulty tax shelter advice. Still happening. Unhappy investors and tax shelters structured by some of the biggest and most prestigious accounting and law firms in the country have continued their lawsuits in state courts. Oh, let's see. Let's get rid of that. There we go. In state courts. And, so here's the deal. They're seeking recovery under favorable state law. So here's a little background for you. The big companies created very complex and exotic transactions designed to shelter income when the IRS began to audit these deals. They were shown to be complex, uneconomic shams that simply generated tax savings. Now, investors are seeking damages to breach of fiduciary duty, fraud, negligent misrepresentation, breach of contract, malpractice, and civil conspiracy. So, go figure. Now you kind of know what's going to happen with these guys. You know what? Just not a good idea to play games with the IRS. You know, as much as we want to see them lose, as much as we tell stories about them and castigate them, they're really not all that dumb. They kind of know what's going on. They try to get away with stuff, no question about it. But they know pretty much what they're doing. They just try to get away with it, and that's the problem that's going on here. Now, do not go away, because when we come back in this short break, we're going to be with Jon Matthews and Joe Hakos in the Conservative Syndicate Corner. We're doing our bi-weekly simulcast with them, so we will be opening up a number of stations beyond our own. So we'll be right back after these brief messages. Do not go away.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know, Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you. And now, ladies and gentlemen, coming to you from the basement of his strategic planning room located at his political hideaway in Los Angeles County, the dedicated man who stands and serves the political conscience of our nation, Mr. Jon Matthews.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're getting ready for Jon Matthews. I want you to know that at 3:35 p.m. Pacific time, currently 105 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire, sunny Southern California. On its way down to 69 degrees. If you're listening to us on our syndicated network, we're in New York City. It's 89 degrees and clear. And in Chicago, Illinois, 76 degrees, and there's some light rain going on right there. You know what? John and Joe Hakos will be with us shortly, and basically I don't really know what we're going to talk about today. There's a lot of things we can. It's generally all about conservative politics, and I'm sure that John will be calling us any minute here. We'll see what actually transpires. There he is right now, and we're on the air with Jon Matthews and Joe Hakos. Hey guys.
Hey, how you doing there, Robert?
Hey, you know what? Much better than I was on Friday. I'll tell you that. You know, I'm an old man. Sometimes I forget that, and I do things I'm not supposed to do.
Okay. Is it what, you having a senior moment there?
Yeah, you know what? I sprained my lower back, and I was scared to death. I didn't know if it was my hip, if I pinched a nerve, or I sprained my back. Went to the doctor, and the doctor says, well, you can do anything that you can tolerate and put up with. And I said, what do you think I'm here for? I obviously can't tolerate and put up with it. You know, why would I come to you if I was feeling good?
So did he give you a note so that you don't have to vote?
No. You know, I wish he would, for God's sakes. Jesus.
I mean, who wants to tolerate that these days?
You know what? That's worse pain than the muscle pain that I have.
Yeah. You know, we're talking about something here, Bob. I want to get your opinion on this.
Okay.
We're really kind of digging into the fact that, you know, the media has gone into, propaganda overdrive here. Everything is about Trump, and very little is actually, you know, outside of the obligatory announcement of Hillary Clinton's latest scandal, and then 24 hours later it falls off the map while we talk about Donald Trump's latest gaffe or whatever, something he says. And we've recognized the fact that the media and both establishments on both sides of the political asylum are now in collusion with each other, and we're examining this concept, or this idea that the media here is no longer, just like everybody else on the left, they're no longer hiding what their intent is. That there is an actual strategy here to go after Donald Trump and destroy him. Not that Hillary Clinton's any better. It's just to preserve the status quo. And I just wanted to get your take here. Are you noticing how the media bandwagon pretty much across the spectrum?
Oh yeah, no question about it, John. You know, I mean, Trump is his own worst enemy, and then he went out there and decided to attack the press, and the press is saying, ha ha ha, you think you're to attack us? They've got an all-out declared war against this man. You know, he can't breathe properly and not be castigated by the press right now. Now, you know what? It does seem like, and you and I've talked about it many times, that, you know, the people don't get to decide anymore. It's really the press, it's the media that's deciding who's going to be popular, who's not going to be popular. I mean, how else could we possibly have two unpopular people running for the highest, most powerful office in the world, and nobody likes them, and it's the press that's going to really decide who's going to get into the White House?
Well, I think part of the answer to that is the idea that because of the media, because of the fact that they major in the minors, you know, I'm still hearing stories about Mitt Romney having his dog strapped to the hood of his car.
Poor fella. He probably struggled for about a mile and just couldn't keep up any longer.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm getting tired. I'm getting tired. The minute I hear that they're going to be talking about Donald Trump again, I just try to find some variety show to watch. I'm getting just tired of hearing the same thing 24/7, no matter what station we're on. You know what? I'm just sick of it.
Yeah, I look for the poultry farm channel where, you know, they go out and slaughter a bunch of chickens.
Well, where do you find that?
That's even more exciting. And, you know, if you're going to have a bloodbath, you might as well have it where you can have poultry.
But see, Bob, you just hit the nail on the head, because this is the desired objective of the media.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is to get everybody just so sick and tired of listening to it, and just say, you know what the hell, I don't need to go vote anyway.
Yeah.
You know, it's just a couple of clowns here.
Well, that's that story that I had the headline read. Clinton surges past 270 electoral votes in the NBC News battleground.
You know, I was watching one, Joe, the other day. She had 300 and some odd electoral votes. I'm thinking, well, excuse me, did the election go by and I didn't see it, or what?
Yeah, absolutely, Bob.
Yeah, I mean, what are we even talking about it anymore? It's already been decided. We were noting here before the break here that coming out of the RNC convention, Donald Trump had he picked up like 6 points. That was 6 points, 8 points in some of the polls, and so he had a 6 to 8 point spread over Hillary Clinton. The day after, the 2 days, a day, 48 hours after the DNC convention, Hillary Clinton is up by 10 points. So that's an 18-point swing in 48 hours.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there going, how can that even be possible when you're talking about a woman who, if the polls were even correct, has less than 50% of the electorate saying that she's good, and nobody likes her anyway.
Yeah. You know what? It's just ridiculous. The whole thing is just absolutely ridiculous. Yesterday, I'm hearing, Donald Trump is saying he's going to win New York. That's his state, right? And then yesterday, the NBC poll announces that Hillary Clinton is 30 points ahead of him in New York. Who the hell is taking these polls, for God's sakes? And who are they asking? I don't know. My phone's not ringing. Is yours?
And then, see, that brings up another point. I'm glad you mentioned that, and you're doing a very good job of leading me today.
Good.
I'm looking at an article here. I'm going to look at and I'll have a few moments here to share it with you, and then I'll get your response on it. Let me scroll down my notes here, because this is the thing that I think everybody is missing. One thing I believe, just with all my heart right now, is that nobody in the media, nobody out there that has a voice in this thing at all even has a clue as to how this thing is going to turn out. And I'll tell you why. I'm looking here at an Associated Press article that was printed on Saturday, August 13th. And it says the number of registered voters in Florida keeps growing. Now, we're just talking about one state here. Mm-hmm. It says the Florida Division of Elections on Friday released information on the number of voters eligible to vote in the August 30th primary election. This is Florida's primary election, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's correct. That the primary for congressional races, right, Senate races, that kind of thing.
Okay, now listen to this. The GOP is crying about the fact that they may lose the majority in the Senate, and the House is going to lose some seats. And so that's why everybody's just kind of turned their back on Trump. That's the argument that's being presented. It says here the total number of eligible voters in Florida has risen to 12.4 million. That's an increase of more than 310,000 voters since the March presidential primary. There were about 11.93 million voters eligible during the 2012 presidential election. The new numbers show that there are now 4.43 million registered Republicans, nearly 4.7 million Democrats, and more than 2.9 million voters who have no party affiliation. There were about 4.24 million GOP voters and 4.78 million Democratic voters during the 2012 election. The number of those voters registered with no party affiliation has also risen in 4 years by more than 341,000. Now, when you break these numbers down, this is what it shows. The Republicans have picked up almost 2 million registered voters, and the non-affiliated voters have grown astronomically, whereas the Democrat people have barely budged. There's been very little increase in the number of Democrat voters in Florida compared to the number of Republicans that have registered.
So where's the logic of the analysis?
Huh?
Where is the logic in the analysis that they're worried in Florida about losing seats?
There's no logic in it. They just wanted disenfranchise people, make them so they don't go out and vote.
Yeah.
Or you know what else, Joe? You know what it is? They're gonna convince people about who is actually gonna win a seat or who's not gonna do it. And those poor people out there that just want to vote for a winner, they don't care if they're good or bad. They just want to vote for a winner, and they're gonna vote for who the media says the winner's gonna be.
That's funny that you said that, because I was listening to something today and they were talking about, I don't need to use God in any decision I made, especially when it comes to voting. Show.
As Bill Clinton said, I never let my Christianity get in the way of my job.
Yeah. Well, I think that Trump is a closet Franciscan.
Well, here's my point. When we talk, what we've shown, what this indicates is we've had an increase in the number of registered Republicans. We've had a massive increase in the number of non-affiliated voters, and virtually no increase in the number of Democrats registering in Florida. Now, I'm only looking at one state, but I'm saying if we were to project this out there and say, okay, let's say something like this is going on in every state, then what we have here is we have a massive number of increases in non-affiliated voters.
Yeah, but John, what you're not saying is those are defectors from the Democratic Party, because if the Republican Party continues to grow and the non-affiliated voters continue to grow and the Democratic Party continues to decrease, they are now defecting over to independency because they don't want to vote for Hillary.
Yeah, now that's a good point. That's exactly where I was leading to. And when we come back, I want to take it just a step further here. And if we use these numbers and we're able to project something in terms of how these numbers are affecting the polls that the media keeps trying to tell us is telling us that Hillary's winning, because there's a point there. We got to go to a quick break.
We'll be right back with Jon Matthews and Joe Hakos on our simulcast after these brief messages. Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live, and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios Incorporated. And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. Well, we're waiting for Jon Matthews and Joe Hakos to return for our simulcast. I want you to know that at 3:48 p.m. Pacific time, it's still 105 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. And if you're on our globally syndicated network and you're in Paris, France, it's 70 degrees and clear. In Rome, Italy, it's 68 degrees and clear. Now, John and Joe will be calling in any minute now, and then we'll see what they've actually got to say to us. You know what? We got a nice conversation going on. I was talking about really how the media is manipulating you and me and everybody else around us before we can get anything done here. It's interesting to listen to perspectives. You know, unfortunately, we are being manipulated, and I'm not sure what the answer is. So here's John and Joe with us again right now.
Questions here. You there, Bob?
Yes, I am.
Okay, we gave these numbers here, Florida, what's going on down here in Florida, and what it indicates is that there's a number of people much larger coming into the registration rolls, not so much from the Democrat and Republican Party, whether they're defecting or whatever, but the number of non-affiliated voters is growing. And I think that's pretty, probably pretty standard across the board, or Donald Trump would not have been elected. He would not have won the nomination for the Republican Party. Now, if we take that and we just say, let's just speculate for a moment and project. And what my theory here is that these poll numbers that are being put out there right now, they may be accurate. They may be accurate. But when you consider the numbers, we talk about polls. We talk about is the poll looking at adults, or is the poll looking at likely voters, or is the poll looking at registered voters? And that really determines the honesty or the integrity of the poll when we, if we really look at it honestly. But I think what's happening here, because in the 2012 election, everybody got it wrong. Okay, no, everybody thought Mitt Romney was going to just march over Obama and it was going to be all over, and it didn't happen. Now, here's my thing. Everybody's still using the template of elections past, and they're using old roll numbers. How do these people get called in polls? They're people that have joined a mailing list for the party, or have sent donations to a party or whatever, and you mix them all together and you pull out and you say, okay, we call this many Democrats, this many Republicans, however you want to skew that, okay? But nobody's talking to the new people. Nobody's polling these non-affiliated voters. And if that's the case, I have a tendency to believe that most of those people are going to fall in the Trump camp.
Yeah, and that's the point that I was making earlier too, John, except I was analyzing it a little bit different. But I think the end result is we're coming into the same conclusion. But I do honestly believe that there are a lot of Democrats out there that are really ticked off about the fact that Hillary's getting away with all this illegal stuff, just doing whatever the heck she wants to do, the email stuff, the conflict between their foundation and the Secretary of State. People are fed up with that kind of crap. And I think that what you're seeing is some dissension in the Democratic Party, which is why you see a reduction in Democrat registrations. You're seeing an increase in Republican or conservative registrations, and then you're seeing a larger increase in those independents or non-affiliated registrations, because they got to be coming from somewhere, John. I think they're coming from those Democrats.
Yeah, I think they're coming from a lot of the disenfranchised voters, people that have not voted in the past or haven't voted in a long time. But I would only argue that a lot of these non-affiliated voters are probably just going to Bernie Sanders people.
Oh, that could be too. Absolutely. You know what? I didn't give that any thought, and you're absolutely right, because you need to enter into there too. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, I'm just saying, there were a lot of people. There's a lot of people at the Democratic convention. It was very obvious. They had a lot of Bernie Sanders people actually walk out of the convention. They're like, we're not voting for Hillary no matter what.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the wrench in the works, or the Trump card, if I can use that phrase, the Trump card is going to be the effect that Gary Johnson has on the electorate. I mean, they're talking about him. He's going to be included in these debates now.
He hasn't got the 15% yet, has he? Yeah. I thought he was like at 10%. Yeah, he hasn't gotten there yet.
No, but I think that maybe in the end, there may be some move. Because think of it this way. The Democrats would love to have Gary Johnson on the debate stage. Not because it would hurt Hillary, it's because they think it would pull more people out of the Trump camp rather than more people out of the Clinton camp. So it would be to their advantage to have somebody like Gary Johnson on the stage. And so that's, we have all these non-affiliated people. Well, we have to decide, are these people going to go with Trump, or are they going to pull somebody like Gary Johnson or maybe Jill Stein, somebody like that, and just do the reduction, because the election is going to be close one way or the other. But then I think as Joe had pointed out last week on our show, Bob Costas made a comment that I thought was just probably the most accurate out of everything I've heard so far, and that is, if these people that voted for Trump in the primary, if they all show up in mass, Hillary's got a real problem. And so what we see now is the media trying to discourage everybody from showing up and voting, because that's why we have Hillary Clinton already got 270 electoral votes. We haven't got a single ballot yet.
incenses me the way we're being manipulated, and the fact that so many citizens of this country, and non-citizens for that matter, are so easily malleable, so easily to be bent and convinced about what's going on. And the media is trying to convince everybody that Hillary's already got all of the electoral votes that she needs to get into the White House. Everybody's going to say, well, why bother? I won't go to the polls. You hit the nail on the head with that, John.
Yeah. Well, the Gruber theorem is what the Democrats are working on.
Yeah.
It's the stupidity of the American voter. And when you talk about manipulation, you have to be a willful participant to be manipulated. If your gut check tells you, I think God gave us all a gut check. And if your gut check says something ain't right, and that's where you leave it. Well, something ain't right. And so I'm going to do what I normally would do, or I'm not going to do anything at all. Yeah, then you're being manipulated. But if you're not, if your gut check and you follow your gut check, hey, maybe I ought to take a moment here and find out what the hell's going on.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
What's going on? Well, Rumpelstiltskin, welcome to Wake Up Time.
It's the Wizard of Oz. He's right behind the curtains.
I was thinking the other day over the weekend, I was thinking of have you ever seen Jesus Christ Superstar?
Yes.
Okay, there's a scene in there where the disciples are talking to Jesus, and the song is, "What's the buzz? Tell me what's happening."
Yeah.
And I'm kind of thinking maybe that's if I was campaigning right now, that would be my theme song. I'd be out there, hey, what's the buzz? Tell me what's happening.
Yeah, you know what? I'm just kind of wondering if we're going to wake up on January the 20th with a pull-up bureau.
Well, we had czars in this last administration here.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Anyway, Bob, we're out of time here. I want to give you a moment to plug your show.
All right, listen, I'm on the air every Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific time. Get my app. It's the easiest way to listen to my show. It's absolutely free. Go to your app store, search Robert Cardoza Live, download it. It's absolutely free. You can listen to my show just after John's show, and not be interfered. And if you're one of my listeners, you know what? Just go to John's website and listen to him after my show. You want to hear me live. In any event, you guys, it's always wonderful to talk to you. Look forward to talking to you on Friday.
All right. You have a good week, and take care of your back.
All right. Thank you very much. All right, folks, listen, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to be with that little old wine drinker, Jon Hansen, and we're going to be talking about food. We're going to be talking about wine. We're going to be talking about he just returned from an Alaskan cruise. He was in Canada and Alaska, and we're going to talk about the food and the stuff that he did on that. It's going to be absolutely wonderful. So don't go away. We'll be right back after these brief messages.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Leinberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
When they ask who's a fool in the corner crying, I say, a little old wine drinker me.
And now, from the middle of a vineyard somewhere, a man who's never met a grape he couldn't cuddle up to, our resident advanced sommelier, Jon Hansen.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4 p.m. Pacific time. It is currently 105 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. And if you're in our on our syndicated global network and you're in London, England, it is 61 degrees and it is clear right now. And if you are in Vienna, Austria, it's also 61 degrees and clear. Well, we're waiting for my good buddy Jon Hansen, and he should have already called in. Let's just send him a little bit of a message and see if he's just waiting for me to send him the message. Generally, he's pretty good about calling in on time, so we'll see what the heck happens. Jon just got back from a nice vacation, so we'll see what's going on with him. You know, I may have to wind up calling him for Pete's sake. I'm not sure what's the hang up is. I'm anxious though. You know, he went on his cruise, he did all this stuff. And I'm not just, don't know. It's certainly not like him not to call in when he's supposed to. He's a minute late now. And so we'll see. Maybe what I ought to do is try and give him a call and see what the heck is happening here. Let me try this real quick. Keep talking, Bob. Let's see. And let's try this again. There it is, and we're going to give him a call and see if he is there to take the call. And it should be ringing any second. And there it goes. And let's see if he picks up on this. Come on. Come on, Jon. Well, it doesn't look like...
Hello?
Hey, Jon, did you forget something?
Oh my gosh, yes. Is it 4 already?
Yeah, it's actually after 4. And I waited and I talked and I filled in and thought, well, what the heck is going on with my good buddy Jon? He must have gotten a hold of a bad cork.
No, I was trying to catch up on some work and stuff like that, and I set my alarm and it didn't go off. Oh, damn it. Darn it.
Well, that's okay. I'm glad we got you on the phone anyhow. So that's a good thing. I was telling people that you just came back from a magnificent cruise. You did an Alaskan cruise, and you also were in Canada for a while. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your culinary experiences and the cruise experiences that you had?
Well, I tell you, the past 2 weeks, Bob, I have just been on an incredible vacation. It's the first time we went to Alaska. And I tell you, we spent 3.5 days in Vancouver. And my gosh, probably the best restaurants I've ever been in. It was incredible. But I tell you, one thing we maybe should talk about before we get into cruises is the incredible dining experience I had Saturday night.
Oh, really?
Now,
you go to a good restaurant Saturday night?
Yes, there's a lovely place called Casa Cardoza.
Yeah, you know what? It turned out it was a wonderful, wonderful evening. Of course, the evenings go by really quickly when you've got great company to share it with.
Well, it does, but actually, I want it because you gotta mention that salsa recipe too. But I tell you, it's so hard not to stop actually eating food, and I just kept eating. By the time the entrees got to the table, I was so full, and believe me, we took some of the entrees home, and believe it or not, Bob, I made an incredible dinner last night. And what I did, it's funny, I do want to go over it. We started off actually, and I wanted to mention this too, because we've had our good friend Chris on the phone. He talked to us about New Zealand, and he did such a great job. And last night, I opened a bottle of his wine, Oyster Bay. Oh. And Sauvignon Blanc, typical New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc, just screams grapefruit, passion fruit, just an incredible Sauvignon Blanc. We had it with a little goat cheese, there was a little Comté cheese, and a little Dublin cheese. And this is what we just grazed on while I made dinner. And what I did, we had this incredible filet Saturday night, and it was cooked perfectly rare to medium rare. So I don't want to mess with perfection, Bob. So what I did, I just wrapped it in aluminum foil, all right, and I put it on the top shelf of the grill and just turned the grill on just to warm it up. And when it was done, it came out because I put it on the side afterwards, and it stays warm in the aluminum foil. And by the time I was ready to enjoy it, it was about mid-rare to medium and just perfect. Mm. And we took home a little of that risotto you made the other evening as well. What I did, I actually sautéed some porcini mushrooms with a little butter, truffle oil, a little salt and pepper, and I added that to the risotto, a little more truffle oil, little green tips of asparagus, and just let that simmer a little bit. What I did with the rest of the mushrooms, I added just a touch of Worcestershire, a little dabble of Dijon mustard.
Hey, John, you're making me hungry, man.
That's my job, Bob. A little red wine, and just a touch of cream, and made just nice little mushroom topping with that. And I put that over the fillets we had left over. I also did the little sugar snap peas, and they come with sugar because they snap. They're crisp and fresh, and you want to cook them too much because then they start getting soft. So just a little butter. I just did a dash of sugar, salt, pepper, and just warmed those up. And I tell you, Rena said it was incredible, and I said, was it as good as Saturday night's dinner? And she didn't respond, so I don't know if it's good as Saturday night's dinner, but she said it was awesome. And we had a bottle of the Quantum from Behringer. And since we did the Sauvignon Blanc first, we didn't get through the whole bottle. So for dessert, what I did, I took a little almond roca, crushed it, chopped it up a little bit.
Well, you did the whole 9 yards yesterday.
Oh, Bob, it was incredible. Little vanilla ice cream, the almond roca, little walnuts, and then chocolate syrup with just a little dabble of whipped cream. And we finished the bottle off of the Behringer Quantum. And then afterwards, I had a little ice ball with a little 30-year-old Glenglashey Scotch, watched a little TV, and I was done for the night. I went to bed after that. It was perfect evening. On leftovers, Bob. It was incredible. But we have a ritual when you and I get together, especially when we dine at the Casa Cordova. We always start off with a little Bellini.
Yes, we do.
And of course, we did that Saturday night, but I'm going to let you take the ball, and you got to explain your salsa as well, but kind of go over the evening what we had. Because I know it took you quite a bit of time to do this.
Yeah, well, you know what? The interesting thing is that I tried to prep most of my stuff and do a lot of the stuff ahead of time, and then I kind of put myself behind the 8 ball because some of the stuff doesn't lend itself to being prepared, hours ahead of time, and so I had to manipulate some things. But what we wound up doing when you and Raina finally showed up and I saw what wine we were having for dinner, I thought, well, hell, I'm not going to cook anything. I'm just going to drink this wine. John and Raina brought over a bottle of Terra Roja, just absolutely magnificent wine. Anyway, while that was opening up and breathing, and John decanted it, we had some Bellinis. Now, the Bellinis are really, really easy to make. we wound up killing a couple of bottles of that. I was a little surprised because I thought we were going to have just to have a Bellini just for the sake of us continuing our tradition and then going to something a little more substantial. That didn't happen. But then we had some chips and salsa, and I pride myself. I have this recipe for this salsa that I have developed, and I like it. You got to kind of be a little careful, or it can be too hot. But generally, it's a mild, tasty salsa, and so that's what we started off with, this salsa. And for those of you that want the recipe, you know what? It's really quite simple. And what you wind up doing is you get a 48-ounce can. Whole tomato peeled in the juice. You wind up getting this Rotel tomato with green chilies, two cans of that. And then you wind up getting a jalapeno pepper, and you don't take the seeds or anything out. You just chop that up. You get a small onion, and you chop that up. And by the way, all of this is going into a food processor because you want to get the thing. I put in a half a teaspoon of sugar, a half a teaspoon of salt. I put in a quarter teaspoon of cumin. I put in about I'm going to say a quarter cup of cilantro, maybe a little bit more than that, maybe a half a cup of cilantro that I put in there. Then I put the juice of 2 limes. I put in there. I'm thinking I'm going by memory, so I think that's pretty much what's in that thing. Oh yeah, that's it. And then you put that into a food processor to get the texture that you want to get. You have to put it in the refrigerator for about 3 hours to get all those flavors to meld and everything. And then it makes a wonderful salsa. One of the as good as any that I've ever had. And you can control the heat on it, but I don't take the ribs or the seeds out of the jalapeno. I just chop it all up really nice, and one jalapeno generally gives you just enough spice that nice tender ladies can handle it. Although, John, you did get I don't know what happened. You must have gotten one really hot spot because you almost choked on one of them.
It's funny, and I was telling you the story every time that when Ray and I go out to enjoy like Mexican food or something that has a spice to it, mm-hmm. I really enjoy spice. Even sushi, I make my little wasabi blend there with a little soy sauce, and I usually take 90% of the wasabi. I do like a little spice. Yeah. And I tell you, I was actually talking when I shouldn't have been talking, and I got a nice little chili something in my throat, and it stuck there. I couldn't get it out. Well, wine cures everything, Bob. Wine cures everything.
Yes, it does.
It's funny because when we do dine, the food runner will bring the food out and look at Raina and look at me and always give her the hot plate. And she cannot stand eat at all. We always have to switch the plates, but I don't know why. Yeah,
but I was looking over at you because I was preparing the shrimp cocktail, and I thought, what the heck happened? This should be mild. But I think
it was. Yeah. It was. I mean, it was perfect, actually, especially for Raina. As I say, I like it. I may have gone with another jalapeno or maybe put a habanero in there or something like that.
Generally, John, if it's just for me, I make it a little more spicy too because I like it. But exactly. Marlene is like Raina, and yep. So you got to kind of control it. Anyway, I also fixed a shrimp cocktail for us to have as appetizers, and that kept us going. We just had a great conversation going while you were telling us about your cruise and showing us pictures and things, and then we all got up and had a very special salad that Marlene makes. But it's just wonderful. Yeah, she makes it with mandarin oranges and Granny Smith apples and pine nuts, dried cranberries and candied pecans and let's see, the lettuce. Crumbled blue cheese and what the heck was it? The lettuce. I'm trying to think of the name of it. Romaine lettuce.
Romaine lettuce?
Yeah.
And what was the actual dressing?
You know what? I'm trying to think of what the name of that was. We actually, we had a friend of ours many years ago, got that for us. And I'm trying to think of what the name of it is. And I can't think of the name of it right now, but it just escapes me. And doggone it. when you're talking, I'll go find out the name of that thing. Anyway, so after we had the salad, I wanted to fix a nice appetizer. So, as you called it, we had a coquille Saint Jacques without the shell. And I have to admit, though, that this is something that I stole from Andrew Sutton at the Napa Rose. We were there one night, and John was there with us, and Andrew Sutton, the executive chef at the Napa Rose, fixed these scallops and put them over a nice pureed potatoes, and put a nice sauce over the top. And man, I just thought it was fantastic. Marlene loved them, and so I thought, well, gee, I can kind of recreate that, and I recreated it the best I could. Not the same as Andrew's, but pretty doggone good. And so,
it was amazing.
Yes.
It was amazing.
Yeah, so we had nice big diver scallops, two over these pureed potatoes with a nice sauce over the top of those. And then after that, let's see, I think we went right to the main course after that, John. I think we had a filet Oscar. So I actually had to butcher the fillets myself. They were nice and thick, and I would like to say prepared perfectly for me. Anyway, if you're the chef, you get to eat it your way. Anybody else? This is not McDonald's. You can order it your way, but you're going to get it the way I cook it. So anyway.
Well, I tell you, if you do have leftovers, that was perfect. As I said, if it was like medium, if you took it home and you cook it, you're going to have, well done medium well done. And it's not going to be the same. This, as I said, it was still mid-rare to medium even after reheating it.
Yeah.
And it was warm all the way through for me. I mean, it came out perfect with that sauce. It was like where you still had red in the center, but it wasn't cold. It was perfect. It was beautiful.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, and it was, like I say, it's a filet Oscar. So what we wound up doing is we seared the fillets and we finished them in the oven, and then wound up putting asparagus spears over the top that I had poached, and then I put on top of that some crab legs on top of that, and then on top of that some béarnaise sauce, and then on the side we served the mushroom risotto. We had another vegetable just in case because Marlene's not a big risotto fan, and then after that for dessert we had creme brulee, and then after that we had some port, and that was the evening, and a lot of fantastic conversation.
Oh, it was amazing, and I couldn't believe how quickly time just flew by. We went out, it cooled off, thank God. It wasn't 100, and I believe it was 104 in Rancho right now or so. So it was pleasant. I mean, it's just a little warm, but there was a nice, just calm breeze going through. So it was perfect where we had a little pork creme brulee and a little coffee to wake you up for a little ride home.
Yeah, a little cappuccino.
It was a perfect evening. When we got home, as I said, I just turned the little TV on and went to sleep again. I was so satisfied, and I'm glad we did actually sit outside and just converse and relax to digest the meal we had, because it was amazing. I mean, we had, I don't know how many shrimp you prepared, but we ate them all.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I had made something like 20 or 25 shrimp that I had boiled, and I'm thinking, well, he'll never eat all these things. No way in hell are they going to eat all these things. There was none left when we got done.
I think all the salsa was gone too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think I was pretty full after the shrimp and salsa, and then we had that scallop and the salad, and oh my God, when the entrees came, I did whatever I could. But I wanted to save just a little room for dessert, and I'm glad I did, because as I said, we had that incredible dining experience last night.
Yeah.
I just got a little creative, and I tried to match close to what we had on Saturday, but I don't think Raina thought it was as good as Saturday, but I did my best.
Well, she loved the food that you had last night, but she loved the company that she had on Saturday.
Oh, absolutely. It was fun. We got to do it more often.
Yeah, absolutely.
Few and far between that the four of us get together and enjoy. So.
Yeah. John, we had to take a short break. When we come back, well, you know what? We ought to talk. Let's take a minute and talk about the wine. We had a Sauvignon Blanc with the salad and the appetizers.
The Kenwood.
Yes.
Kenwood Sauvignon Blanc out of Sonoma County.
And then we had the Terra Roja with the main course.
The 2012. And as I said, 12, 13, 2 incredible years as well. But what's great about 12, we haven't tried the 13 yet. It's very approachable now. Some years it's way too young. You need a couple more years just to lay it down. But I tell you right now, we opened at 12, and I still like, every few months open and see how it's progressing and so forth. But it's very approachable for 2012, a younger wine, and it is really show you beautiful fruit, long finish, everything is balanced in the wine, the oak, everything, just balanced, long finish. Beautiful wine, especially with the fillet. It went very well. Tannins are huge, ripping tannins, but they are there. A lovely wine. The Sante does a great job up there, and as I said, I can't wait for the 13th. So October 16th, we'll be up in Vegas.
Absolutely. You and Raina, Marlene, and I, we're all set to go. Actually, isn't it the 14th is a Friday, right? And then the 15th is a Saturday?
Yeah, the actual dinner's on the 16th. It's a Sunday.
Yeah. So, anyway, listen, we got to take a short break. When we come back, I want to hear all about your trip.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, we'll be right back with John Hansen, a little old wine drinker, and me right after these brief messages.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39. A complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:23 p.m. Pacific time. It's currently 104 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. It's down from 105 on its way to 69. And if you're listening to us on our globally syndicated network and you're in Madrid, Spain, well, it's 82 degrees and clear. And if you're in Tokyo, Japan, it's 84 degrees and mostly cloudy. We're talking to that little old winemaker, Jon Hansen. Hey, John, I found out that the salad dressing, it's actually Marston's San Pasquale salad dressing. It's all natural, no preservatives, gluten-free. It's a 12-ounce bottle, and the recipe for the salad is right on the label of the dressing. We picked this up from Gelson's originally, and now we get it at Wolf's Market in Claremont. But there's a website you can go to, and it'll tell you where it's available. The website is www.marstonproducts.com, or you can call them directly if you want to at 626-285-1822. So again, this is just an absolutely wonderful salad. Go to their website at the www.marstonproducts.com. You'll be glad you did. I think John will attest to that. This is just a fantastic salad. A lot of stuff in it. I mean, it's got just a ton of stuff in it.
Well, Bob, I could have just enjoyed it without the lettuce.
Just drink it right out of a cup, right?
Oh my gosh, it was delightful. I mean, just the combination, the orange gave it just a little, sweetness, and the fruit just coming off that, and the dry cranberries. So you got a nice little balance there of the fruit, and then the nuts, and then the blue cheese. I mean, and the little avocado. Don't forget the avocado. The avocado was in there too.
Yep.
Just amazing combination. It went so well. But my friend, I tell you, the last 2 weeks, I believe I did gain about 20 pounds. Of course, when you go on a cruise, what else do you do but eat and drink all day? And this was, I tell you, one of the things we always wanted to do. We wanted to cross off our bucket list. And of course, I have friends like you that traveled everywhere. And you told me it was a must. You have to go. And I tell you, what an incredible cruise to Alaska. Just the scenery was just breathtaking. It was just unbelievable. And I tell you, we started on my son actually brought us to the airport, and he had to get somewhere. So we got a little early, and we just relaxed up in the Delta Lounge and started our vacation. But we flew from LAX to Seattle, and then we had about an hour delay there too, and then Seattle to Anchorage. And it was fun because we got in about 11 o'clock at night, and it was still light out. So, I mean, that doesn't tell you anything. It was incredible. We spent the night in Anchorage, got up, had breakfast at one of the restaurants there that was recommended to us, and then we hopped on a train all the way to Seward, and that was about a 3.5-hour train ride, and we just had a great time. We played cards, we did dice games, but the scenery, as I said, you'd have to stop halfway what you were doing, because somebody go, oh, there's a moose, or there's an eagle, or and the train would slow down. Say if there was like a glacier or a hanging glacier, and they pointed out to us any points of interest, the train would slow down, and they would let us know. The staff on the train was amazing. They were comical. It was a lot of fun. Everybody just had a great time. And then we got to see it, and we just went right on the ship. And I know you've had suites before. Our good friends actually had the penthouse, which was the whole half of the boat. And my gosh, it was amazing. The view, you had the whole half deck by yourself. And we had a personal butler and whatever you wanted. So, there was always cheese and crackers there just to nibble on, whatever you wanted to drink. And of course, we took full advantage of that as well. But the ship, the water was very, very calm. Sometimes, you go on cruises and you get a little rough seas and so forth. The water's like glass. You didn't even know you were moving on the ship. But the first day was just travel, and we went into Juneau, the capital, for our first port of call. And unfortunately, we had a dog sled on the glacier that got canceled because it was whiteout conditions up on the glacier there. It was overcast, but surprisingly very warm. It was in the upper 60s, even though it was overcast. And that was basically a whole trip. It was probably mid-60s to mid-70s, the whole trip. And we didn't really hit much rain at all. It just drizzled a little bit on a couple of days, but there was a lot of overcast, but we had a couple of just gorgeous sunny days as well. But when we went into June, yeah, we did walk around, a lot of history of that town. It is the capital. It's one of only 3 capitals that don't have a highway going to it. Is actually, I think the only way you can get to it is either by boat or seaplane or something along those lines. So beautiful, beautiful little town. And we had this one place called the Twisted Fish. And I tell you, there's nothing like fresh seafood, and that's all you get up there in Alaska. I mean, halibut. We had, of course, the salmon. The salmon's just running at this time, too. You can just see it in the water. You can almost just go out and grab the fish itself. But it was funny because we had this, Brandon had the salmon dish, and there was this wild cherry chipotle rub on it, a dry rub on it. And this was incredible. And everybody tried Raina's dish because she was ranting and raving about it. And they said, oh, you know, you can buy the rub right next door. And it's Taku, T-A-K-U, rub. It's they make a lot different rubs. You can actually buy Alaskan salmon through them as well if you go on their website. But the wild cherry chipotle is the one you want, and it is amazing. We bought a little thing back of that. We had to because it was just incredible. So the next salmon dish we do, we got to put the dry rub on it because it was simply amazing. It was simply amazing. Now we did celebrity cruise lines, and the food was very good throughout the cruise. We didn't go to the main dining. We did all the restaurants in the ship. We just did the special dining in the ship because we were just eating all day, just relaxing up in the suite outside the deck, just catching the scenery. And I mean, it was just nonstop, just nibbling all day anyway. So and enjoying whatever we wanted to drink. So by the time dinner came around, we really weren't that hungry, believe it or not. So we just went to the specialty restaurants and just ordered what we wanted instead of all this food coming to you in the main dining room. And I'm glad we did. Hopefully, I'm not 30 pounds heavy. I'm only 20 pounds heavy from But it was amazing. We had a lot of fun, but the next day we were supposed to go on another train ride, and since we already did a train ride, we decided to do the glacier walk because there was a cancellation. We were able to do the glacier walk, so we took the helicopter up to the glacier and got out and walked around, and it was amazing. I know Marlene looked at all the pictures. I don't know if you get to see a lot of the glacier pictures, but it was just amazing. And that was in Skagway. The next day we were in Skagway. And so we spent most of the day on the glacier and so forth, but we did come back and we ate at a little crab shack with fresh crabs because Raina she was kind of salmoned out, I think, and wanted to do crab next. So we went to a little crab shack that day. And as I say, the fish is so fresh. The presentation, not really, it's just crab.
Rustic.
And maybe a little lemon and a little parsley. That's it. I mean, nothing fancy. The restaurants in the town, rather simple, but the food is just so fresh and delicious.
Yeah, it was in the water a few minutes ago.
Exactly. Our next stop was the Icy Strait, and we went on a whale watch cruise. I think we saw just about everything. I mean, we saw orchids, we saw humpbacks, we saw dolphin, sea lions, sea otters, salmon jumping out of the water. It was a lot of fun, and we didn't get any real close encounters with the whale. I mean, they were out a little bit, but you see the hump, you see the tail go down. Mm-hmm. We didn't see any of them breach, which they jump up in the air and land down and make a big splash. Mm-hmm. We didn't see any of that, but a lot of just the humps and the tails coming up, and we had one that got relatively close to the boat, and that was kind of exciting. But it was fun doing that, and it's surprising how time goes by so quickly because you're out and it's like we're going back already, and it was like a 2-hour tour too, so it seemed like about a 35-minute 30-minute tour. We did come back. We had a little lunch in the Icy Straits as well, and it was called the Duck Something Restaurant. And once again, we did the salmon because that was just called salmon.
Wait a minute, John. Wait, whoa. You went to a duck restaurant and ordered the salmon?
Oh, it's called like the Duck Hut.
Oh.
And oddly enough, Bob, there was no duck on the menu. You know, you get hamburgers too there if you want beef. I mean, this was their lunch menu, of course, but they did have the salmon, and we're like, you know, we gotta try more of the salmon. It was just so good, and you know, I think it was a different salmon because you know they had all 5 salmons in most of the restaurants there, but what was fresh, and I think it was a different salmon since we had. I think the last one was a king salmon, and this was maybe a silver salmon, or it wasn't coho. I can't remember what other salmon it was, but it was a different salmon, so we tried that too. Yeah. And of course, just delicious. You know, the presentation, simple, but the fish is just so fresh, and it makes a world of difference. I used to work in a restaurant where we had this trout, and the trout was live, and the chef called it trout bleu, blue, because it was like a blue tint to the trout, because he cooked it within 3 minutes once he killed the fish. Wow. So basically, it was just this fast preparation, got it in the pan within 3 minutes where there was still oxygen in the fish, and you get a blue little tint to the fish, but it was probably the most incredible fish because it was so fresh. Yeah. It was just alive 3 minutes ago, and now it's,
now it's on a plate.
On my plate. Oh yeah, it was incredible. It was incredible, and that's really, you know, a lot of themes of restaurants now. It's like farm to table. You know, they pick it that morning, and that's your vegetables of the day. Or this is what we just came off the boat this morning, and I'm serving you. This is the fish of the day. You know, especially up there, and you know, you got what's the water, 45 degrees maybe up there. I mean, it is freezing, and you get this fresh fish just coming right off these cold waters, and it is so delicious. It is just amazing.
You know, isn't it amazing, John, when you're talking about seafood, especially in Alaska, and everything is so fresh. It's really a simple presentation and a simple way of preparing it, but it is mouth watering. It's unbelievable how wonderful that fresh seafood is.
Oh yeah, and there's no big name chefs, at least not the lunch restaurants we went to up in Alaska, and it's just that the food is just so fresh and delicious. You know, they don't need much of a preparation to it. It's just what it is. It's just you know, it's just fresh fish. It was just caught hours ago, and it's going on your plate. It's just amazing. It's just incredible.
Well, we got 1 minute, John. Hit me with a highlight of what was the highlight of your cruise, and maybe a wine of the week.
Well, next week we're going to talk about British Columbia, because one of the highlights was British Columbian wines. I was so impressed with them. It was incredible. So we're going to talk about the wines and British Columbia, actually Vancouver, our next show. But the highlight of Alaska, oh my gosh, the glaciers. I mean, they're just immense. They're the colors, the blue that's coming off is like that, you know, aqua velvet blue. It is just amazing. And to actually stand on them, and we were drinking the water that was flowing through the glacier, and it was so delicious. And, you know, how many hundreds of years old this water would be, I guess, but now it's melting, and now you can actually drink it. It's just amazing. The helicopter ride was a lot of fun. The seaplane in Ketchikan was a lot of fun. I mean, just the whole experience, you have to just enjoy it. It is just amazing. And I mean, I never realized how big Alaska was.
Yes,
I mean, it's
huge.
Twice the size of Texas. I mean, it is just. But
did you actually bring home any recipes?
Well, I do have the salmon recipe we got from the crazy fish. The twisted fish, recipe, and I do have some that dry rub. So that's one thing I did bring home. And next time we have salmon, we're going to try out this dry rub we got. So
sounds good.
That's the one recipe I did bring home. We had a lot of great wine experiences on the train. I mean, on the trip. we'll talk about later. But the wine pick of the week, what I wanted to mention, because as I said, my good friend, and he's been on the show, Chris, he is the wine rep for Oyster Bay Wine. And Bob, I do not work for Costco, but Costco has it for a little over $9 a bottle. And under $10 a bottle, you can get a Oyster Bay Sauvignon Blanc. Great deal. Try it with some goat cheese, as I said, intense grapefruit, passion fruit, just a truly phenomenal New Zealand, if you like that New Zealand type Sauvignon Blancs, which a lot of people do. But as I said, what a great buy for under $10 a bottle.
Well, I'm on my way to Costco, and we're running about 2 minutes over, so unfortunately we got to say goodbye. I look forward to talking to you Monday. I'm glad you're home safe and sound, and God, we had a great time with you guys on Saturday.
The same here. We'll definitely do that again too.
All right. You have a great evening. And the rest of you folks, do not go away, because when we come back, we'll be doing the birthdays for the day, the secret daily teaching for your life, the Harvard business tip of the day, and interesting but useless facts. We'll be right back after these brief messages. Don't go away, folks.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Leinberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:42 p.m. Pacific time. It's still 104 degrees in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, it says it's down from 106 on its way to 70. That keeps playing around a little bit. If you're listening to us on our syndicated global network and you're in Sydney, Australia, it's 59 degrees and it's clear. And if you're in Auckland, New Zealand, it's 54 degrees and it's clear. But right now, let's talk about the Harvard business tip of the day. And the tip today is what to say when a conversation heats up. You know what? When a conversation turns negative, it's helpful to have a repertoire of replies at your fingertips. Now consider these options. Reframe. Cast the issue in a different light. If someone says, I don't want to fight about this, a useful reframe is, this is a debate, certainly not a fight. Or rephrase. Rather than letting offensive words pass, suggest replacements. If someone accuses you of coming on too strongly in a meeting, you might reply, I was passionate. If you're described as stubborn, you could say, I'm very determined when something is important to a successful effort. And then revisit. If you've had positive interactions with the person in the past, remind them of their ability to find common ground. We have a good track record of working together. No reason to change that now. And then restate. Give people a chance to reconsider and alter what was said. Surely there's another way to say that. Absolutely. You know what? You just got to make peace. Keep the peace. Now, let's talk about the secret daily teaching for your life. This is all about a positive mental attitude, and you know what that is. You control whether you're going to be happy, sad, rich, poor, successful, or failure, or whether even the people around you are going to be happy. You just get up in the morning, you go in the bathroom, look in the mirror and say, wow, it's going to be a fantastic day today, and just keep that attitude, and it will be. Well, you know what? The teaching for today is, the law of attraction does not know if you are imagining something or if it's real. Now, when you're experiencing a lack of money, which has come from your past thoughts, you can change your reality by using your imagination. You really do need to call your imagination into play and make believe that you already have the money that you want. And it is so much fun to do. You'll notice as you pretend that and play games of having wealth that you feel instantly better about money. And as you feel better about it, it'll begin to flow into your life. I know, sounds weird, sounds funny, but folks, it really works. You truly are in control of your life, your destiny. It's not haphazard, it's not predestined. You decide what's going to happen. Well, let's talk about what today is. You know, today is Monday, it's August the 15th, and it is for sure somebody's birthday. And we've got some great birthdays for you today. Actually, we've got three of them. The first one, a guy that was born in 1769, died in 1821. He was the Emperor of France. Happy birthday, Napoleon Bonaparte. And then here's somebody born in 1925, died 2007, was a highly regarded jazz pianist and composer. He was called the Maharaja of the Keyboard by Duke Ellington. Happy birthday, Oscar Peterson. And then finally, here's somebody that most of you will know, is born in 1972, an actor, film director, and screenwriter who became an Academy Award winner for his screenplay in Good Will Hunting. Happy birthday, Ben Affleck. Yes, sir. And you know what? It's time for us to talk about those interesting but useless facts. We've got a number of them, so let's get right to them. Did you know that 22% of all restaurant meals include French fries? Yep. Isn't that a fact? Absolutely. They include French fries. I think that's quite interesting if you think about it. And how about this one? Did you know that Scientific America carried the very first magazine automobile ad in 1898? Now, the Winton Motor Car Company of Cleveland, Ohio, invited readers to dispense with a horse. Yeah, you got it right, 1898. How about this? Did you know that the average person will consume 100 tons of food and 45,424 liters, that's 12,000 gallons, of water in a lifetime? Holy cow. No wonder Sean LaFay was worried about population growth. I don't think he really is. Did you know that you're born with 300 bones? But when you become an adult, you only have 206 because some of them kind of grow together. Did you know that Walt Disney had wooden teeth? I find that interesting. I'm not sure that he used them. I don't know. That sounds weird to me. How about this? Did you know that 14 years before the Titanic sank, novelist Morgan Robertson published a novel called Futility? Now, the story was about an ocean liner that struck an iceberg on an April night. The name of the ship in his novel was the Titan. That's eerie, isn't it? Yeah. Did you know that in 1922, Essex was the first popularly priced car available with a closed body? The two-door, 6-cylinder sedan was called the Essex Coach and sold for $945. Sounds like a real bargain unless you're making, $50 a week. And let me leave you with this one. Like rabbits, hares are herbivores. Yeah. They're plant eaters. Yeah, that's it. Well, don't go away, because when we come back, we're going to do our tribute to the late, great Paul Harvey and the rest of the story. Today's story is The Last Case of Henri Latour. And I'm going to tell you all about it right after these brief messages. Do not go away.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39. A complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:53 p.m. Pacific time. Still 104 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Now it's seeing us down from 107 on its way to 70. And if you're listening to us on our globally syndicated network and you happen to be in Hong Kong, well, it's 75 degrees and it's light rain. And if you're in Lisbon, Portugal, it is 64 degrees and it is clear. But you know what? Now it's time for that special tribute that we do. It is time for our tribute to the late, great Paul Harvey and the rest of the story. You know, Paul's the biggest and best voice in America, reveals the startling heartbeats behind the headlines. Paul Harvey, one of America's favorite radio and TV commentators, heard on over 775 ABC radio stations and over 400 foreign stations. He's seen on 110 television stations, read in 300 newspapers, recipient of numerous awards and honors, including 9 honorary degrees. He's on the Gallup's polls list of America's most admired men. Well, Paul's story today is the last case of Henri Latour. You know, Henri Latour was to France what Sherlock Holmes had been to England. Only Henri Latour was real. A real-life detective who seemed always to get his man. So hailed was he in this respect that Latour, even while he lived, was a legend. If the legend has been enhanced, embellished in the years since his death, no amount of truth stretching could be more remarkable than the hard, cold facts surrounding his last case. Master sleuth Henri Latour was called to the scene of a crime. The suspect had already been taken into custody. Instinctively, super sleuth Latour said no. The authorities had arrested the wrong man. How could Latour be so certain? Police wanted to know. It was a matter of simple deduction. The detective assured them. Pieces were missing from the puzzle. He, Latour, would find the pieces, would unravel the tangled clues. He, Latour, would lead them to the true criminal. So began what some described as the most brilliant track down in the history of France. Carefully, Latour assembled the fragmented evidence, one piece, one step at a time. It was a heinous crime which Latour was investigating, and somewhere in the darkened pathways of a complex maze, a particularly heinous criminal waited. An elderly couple had been robbed, brutally murdered. Citizens from behind their locked doors were comforted to hear that Latour was on the case, that Latour was closing in. And Latour was closing in. Perhaps one day it would be the trace of blood on a scarf, and the next, a chip of knife steel extracted from the human bone. The days became weeks, until enough evidence was accumulated to clear the suspect who was in custody. The proof was positive, declared Detective Latour. The man police had apprehended must now be set free. Shouldn't he be held a while longer, authorities asked, just in case? Just in case the master sleuth, if for some the first time, this time was wrong. But Latour was not wrong. He assured them again, an innocent man had been charged, and no innocent man should be forced to pay for the crimes of the guilty. The search continued. More evidence was gathered. One piece, one painfully slow step at a time. Perhaps now it was a torn patch of tweed or a smudge on a railing. But Latour was closing in. One day the search ended. The puzzle pieces had fallen into place. At the end of the long road, a long and arduous journey, Latour found his man. The trial was not a lengthy one, for the case was ironclad. Latour was on hand personally to reweave an amazing web for the jury, and the verdict was guilty. The judge commended Latour for his tireless effort, for his brilliant detective work. The newspapers applauded. But with that verdict, abruptly, without explanation, Latour retired and went into seclusion. Everyone agreed that last track down had been his greatest triumph. Yet, the Sherlock Holmes of Paris would live the final 25 years of his life as a hermit, as a recluse in a lonely little cottage in a remote French village. Only after his death would the carefully guarded secret come to light, and an admiring nation learned the whole truth about Latour's last case. For the innocent stranger whom Latour had set free was, alas, but an innocent stranger. When the last piece of the puzzle was in place, the dedicated detective was himself trapped by his own uncompromising sense of justice. For he had by then been led by the evidence he had so arduously collected to the arrest and conviction of his own son. And now you know the rest of the story. That's sad, right? Yeah. Well, you want to stick around for tomorrow's show. Tomorrow we're going to talk about the Horatio Alger story, but it's not going to be what you think. So stick around. We've got a lot of stuff for you. You're going to enjoy it.
That's our show for today. Beginning today, treat everyone you meet as if they were going to be dead by midnight. Extend them all the care, kindness, and understanding that you can muster. Your life will never be the same again. So many of our dreams at first seem impossible, then they seem improbable, and then when we summon the will, they soon become inevitable. You know, the real secret of happiness is to make others believe that they're the cause of it. Robert Cardoza Live is brought to you by blogtalkradio.com every Monday through Friday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Now, go out and make it a great day. Your host has been Robert Cardoza, the technical advisor, Matchstick Digital, and your executive producer, also Robert Cardoza.
Hey, listen, folks, this is Robert Cardoza again. I just want to remind you that on my next show tomorrow, we'll have Sean LaFave, and Sean and I will be talking about healthcare on the Geared for Wellness Corner. And then I'm going to continue our tribute to the late, great Paul Harvey and the rest of the story with the Alger story, as I told you before. So please tell all your friends about our show here on the RLC Broadcasting Network. Don't forget, tune in tomorrow at 3 o'clock every Monday through Friday.